Next on track, as we said, the fastest mini in the world. We'll have the grid for you for that very shortly. You can see that the temperature is starting to climb today because 18 degrees at the minute, but up to around about 24 degrees by the time we hit lunchtime today at Brands Hatch. But the grid for the fastest mini in the world will line up as follows. The 181 machine of Matthew Howe will be the car on pole position. He'll have alongside him number 60, which is Harvey Deeth. Both of those going for a sub 50-second lap time here at Brands Hatch this weekend. Next up on row 2, number 21 is Richard Billingham. He'll be joined by number 70, which is Fabio Lufarelli. The third row of the grid sees number 19, which is Mark Goff, alongside number 26, which is local man Bill Richards. Great to have Bill back this year. Fourth row then sees number 11, which is Jim Lyons. He'll be joined by number 474, which is Josh Evans. The fifth row then sees number 37, which is Lloyd Hutchinson. Alongside him is going to be number 7, which is Mike Chalk. The sixth row, number 266, will see Lee Jones, alongside number 18, which is Kevin Flanagan. The seventh row, number 99, is going to be David Howarth. Alongside him will be 575, which is Rafael Eduardo. Then we have row number 8 lining up with number 5, Nigel Diath, and the number 65 machine of Clive Deeth. And then towards the back of the grid is going to be number 1, which is Richard Higgins, and 87, that of Stuart Sampson. So a really good entry for the fastest mini in the world. You can see the cars now working their way onto the circuit, and what a sight they do make. They gave some great times yesterday, but they've been saving themselves, I'm sure, for today, because as we said, they are trying to set the record for a sub 50-second lap time here for the fastest mini in the world. Yeah, and can I just say, they also sound awesome. Just going down to do the interviews, and a few of them were getting ready in the pit lane and in the assembly area, and the noise they're making, they just sound brilliant. Very, very heavily modified, some of these, and you expect them to be, because at certain points on the circuit, certainly our top two, the 181 of Matthew Howe and the 60 of Harvey Deeth, they're going to be heading towards 130 miles an hour as they head towards Paddock Hill Bend. So incredibly quick, and we are certainly going to be keeping an eye on the lap times. You're going to hear us mention that quite a lot because both these two cars are going to be aiming to get sub 50 seconds, which is incredibly impressive around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. So we'll keep an eye on how that progresses. We've talked a little bit about the modifications. Some of the A-class cars, the faster ones, you'll notice they look like a silhouette of a Mini, but they've even got aero parts on them. So some of them have got rear wings, much wider arches. We've obviously got slick tyres and very heavily modified engines in these cars. So yeah, something to really look forward to. We've also got quite an international feel for this race. So we've got people from France, Ireland, Wales, and even Sri Lanka involved in this. And I know a lot of them are going to be probably following the YouTube feed from many spots around the world today. So we want to say hello to all those people watching from around the world today. But as the cars make their way round on that green flag lap, we see that leading to of Matthew Howe in 181 and Harvey Deeth in the number 60. We do expect those two to make a rapid move away from the rest of the field. They were incredibly quick in qualifying yesterday. In fact, almost 3 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack in qualifying. But there are different classes, and all the way through the field, we'll be keeping you updated with all the different classes that are racing today. Certainly will. Yep, it was a great battle last year where we had a winner for Harvey Deeth in race 1, and he also took the victory in race number 2. And I did mention yesterday, but it was actually the first race where we saw the quickest time out of the 2 races. So we'll see if Harvey's on it today. Of course, he's got the attentions of Matthew Howe there on pole position, which he'll try and have to get past and try and see if he can beat his lap time, whoever comes out on top. But Matthew gave us a great battle yesterday in terms of the pace he showed, and also last year he finished just a second behind him in race number 1 as well. So as Rob said, a truly international field, which is great to have here this weekend. The 31st year of the fastest mini in the world, and of course, as we said, we'd like to extend our presence to everyone who is watching online around the world, because it is a truly great race, and let's see if we can get that sub 50-second lap time into the book here this weekend at the 2025 edition of the Mini Festival. It's a rolling start then for the 2 races for the only chance this weekend, and it will be Matthew Howe and Harvey Deeth off the front row. They're going to be blasting their way down towards that first corner. We've got 15 minutes of racing to look forward to, and they can't go until those red lights go out. So they're going to have to keep a good formation all the way to the line, and it's red of Matthew Howell on pole position. It's the green and white machine of Harvey Deeth alongside. The red lights go out now, and the thunder of minis blast down towards Paddock Hill Bend. It's a cracking start from Matthew Howell, not such a good start from Harvey Deeth. So already Richard Billingham has gone through in the number 21 machine, so the orange mini up into second place, and it looks like Fabio Lufarelli, who went very well last year until a non-finish, sits there in fourth place. I can see Bill Richards making a move to the inside as well for fifth position as they turn away in towards Druids for the first time of asking, but it will be Matthew Howell who leads them down the hill for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. Matthew Howell got a big lead already, and we weren't expecting Richard Billingham to make such a good start. Harvey Deeth, maybe there's a little bit of an issue there, but interestingly, the number 70 of Fabio Lufarelli is right with them as well. That's an ex-autocross car there as well, so great to see that one in the mix. But yeah, Matthew Howell, big lead already in the 181, the red mini, as they come across the line. Harvey Deeth now has secured that second place, and now it's a chance for Harvey Deeth in that number 60, the green and white car, to really make inroads into the massive lead that 181 has got in just one lap already. And we said we would be keeping an eye on the lap times. Obviously, a rolling start first lap, so we're not going to worry too much about the lap times of this first lap. But certainly, as the tyres get a bit warmer, the drivers get their eye in and get a bit more secure with the lap, we will start to keep a monitor on that. But the number 60 of Harvey Deeth already looks like he's starting to make inroads into that lead of Matthew Howell after a bit of a slower start.
He is indeed, yeah. I'm just trying to think back to last year. I think it took Harvey a couple of laps just to bed himself in, because this car, of course, is quite modified and takes a couple of laps to build everything up to temperature. So he doesn't want to push it too hard, because they are quite highly strung as well. So now starting to get there is Bill Richards. Has made his way through to third place. So local knowledge goes a long way for Bill, who sits there now ahead of Richard Billingham as they turn their way through Clark Curve for the second time of asking. And then just behind those is the number 70 machine of Fabio Lufarelli. Sixth place at the minute for number 19 is Mark Goff, and then up into seventh place as it stands is going to be Josh Evans, who was eighth on the grid. We've got one that's off at McLaren by the looks of it, Lee Jones. So he is the man who is possibly trying to turn the car back onto the circuit as quick as he can, but not good news for him. I think he's just had a bit of a spin, and he won't be too much longer until he's back onto the tarmac.
Yeah, so it looks like Bill Richards is really motoring in that car, and I love the look of that car in that kind of sky blue colours. From a distance, it takes you back to the old Unipark mini days, doesn't it? And looking at those kind of things, but it's certainly not in those colours, but it looks it from a distance. But Bill Richards is actually making inroads into Harvey Deeth's second place at the moment. But Matthew Howell in the 181, we're going to keep an eye on the lap times. But down, he was 52 seconds last time around, and let's see what he does this time around as he crosses the line. Again, it's about 52 seconds, and you know, maybe these drivers are going to take a lap or two to get their eye. Remember, it's a 15-minute race, this one, so we're only 12 minutes in, so there's plenty of time to start to make changes and get that lap time down a bit. Harvey Deeth still holding second place in the number 60, that green and white machine, and that blue with the Union flag on the front of Bill Richards, that car, the 26 car, holding third. But the rapid progress that these cars are making, they are already starting to move towards back markers, so we're going to be expecting to see the blue flags being shown. The slower cars will know that this faster group are going to be coming through quite rapidly, but they're already on the first group of back markers, and certainly looks like Harvey Deeth in this lap has made quite inroads into that lead, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was 2.5 last time round. This time 1.1. We're down to a 51.7, so not quite where we need to be just yet, but he is on the push, is Harvey Deeth, to bring the gap down and also to lower his lap time as well. Can just see Jim Lyons working his way onto the start-finish line. Another well-turned-out car, which is the Mini Maxi Turbo Austin, so he powers his way down towards Paddock Hill Bend, currently being chased by the 37 machine of Lloyd Hutchinson as they turn their way in towards Paddock Hill Bend. And yeah, as we said, Harvey Deeth's time is starting to come down and down. Let's have a look on track and see where they are through the traffic up towards the right-hander of Clearways and Clark Curve. They're about to go, and there's not going to be too much to choose between them on this occasion as they work their way through Clearways and Clark Curve. Let's see if Harvey Deeth is going to be on for a quicker lap. Sure, the gap is going to be down, but what can he do on this occasion? He goes through. It's going to be a 51.444, so still a little bit of time to gab there, but he's going to be on his way very shortly.
But he's set consecutive fastest laps of the race so far, and Harvey Deith, that gap visually is much, much closer. So he's got so much closer to Matthew Howell in the 181, the red Mini, and this is now turning out to be quite a good battle for the lead now, because it's all going to be about Matthew Howell being able to hold off a very, very fast charging Harvey Deith. And it does seem that this lap, that gap has stabilised a little bit. Yeah, this is really something to keep an eye on. But the green and white Mini of Harvey Deith, the number 60, as they head up towards the clearway section of the course and down towards Clark, is certainly starting to push. And it must be a good thing for him to be able to see that car as a bit of a target, to see the 181 and Matthew Howell, and to say, right, that's the one I've got to get. I've got just under 10 minutes left. Can we make inroads? And that time by, the lap time for both of them, a little bit slower. It was Matthew Howell's fastest lap of his race, but Harvey Deith a little bit slower that time by.
So Matthew Howell heads up towards the right-hander of Druids. Lovely spit of flame there from the side of Harvey Deith's car as well. So if you're trackside, you'll be able to see that, and I'm sure hear it as well as it works its way down towards Graham Hill Bend. Just to say that last year's lap was a 50.288. So that's theoretically, firstly, what they're heading for. And then, as we said, we're going to try and go sub 50 as well this weekend. So it's ebb and flow between the top two. Matthew Howell still leads by just under a second as they turn away towards the end of another lap once again. We've got one on the grass as well, which is that Richard Higgins?
It's Mike Chalk, I think, in that number 7 car that was on the grass on the outside in that yellow and red car, and whatever it's done, it's enabled the other cars behind to catch up. And I imagine that was a bit of a panic moment there, because he's going to be going pretty quickly on the grass across the outside of the circuit there. Looks like we've got another one that's pulled off towards the outside of Paddock Hill Bend, or maybe towards the inside of one of those runoff areas. I'm just trying to look on the cameras to see which one it is, but yeah, certainly one of the cars has pulled off towards, it's on the inside of Paddock Hill Bend on the run up to Druids, so there's clearly a bit of an issue there. We'll have a look at see who that one is in a moment.
I think it might be Nigel Deith, actually. He's dropped down the order, so we'll see if it is him when they come back through. Can see there Mike Chalk just being passed after his wide moment onto the grass along the Brabham Straight, but he stays nicely out the way as Harvey Deith flings it through the final couple of corners. On towards the start-finish line comes our race leader, Matthew Howell, and he has gone a little bit quick on the previous lap, so what can he do this time round? Slightly slower on a 51.4, so still plenty of time to find here. They're still trying to find the right temperature of everything in that car, but of course, as we said, they don't want to push it too hard in these early stages with still half the race to go. You've got Harvey Deith now a little bit distant. He's almost 2 seconds adrift of the race leader as they turn away down towards Graham Hill Bend once again. But of course, that traffic does sometimes have an impact on these races, and just slightly has brought the gap out once again. But for the rest of this lap, I think they'll have a bit of clear track to deal with. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that was the reason why both of them were a little bit slower that time by, and Harvey Deith maybe not getting through the traffic or unable to cut through the traffic. Sometimes it's easier if you're the lead car. It's the first time the back markers see the blue flag, and they sometimes forget there's a second car behind. So it may be that was the struggle. But as they come across the line now, Harvey Deith has dropped back a little bit further from Matthew Howell, and that gap at the moment is now out to 2.8 seconds. That's about as far as the gap's been since the start of the race. So hopefully Harvey Deith in the number 60 can start to make some inroads again into Matthew Howell's lead, but neither of the cars that last time by were anywhere near as quick as they have been either. So potentially it's a point in the race where we're just resting the tyres and we're going to go for a fastest lap again. We've still got just under 7 minutes left of this race, so plenty of time to be able to make those changes. But as Matthew Howell makes his way up towards clearways at the moment, huge great diffuser at the back of that car. It does look like Harvey Deith, as he's coming through clearways and down towards Clark, the car is not as stable. Does look like that car is moving around underneath him a little bit more, and that'll be the reason why he's potentially a couple of tenths slower than Matthew Howell at the moment.
Yep, so needs to try and sort things out. Of course, we've still got another race to come, so if it's not quite working to how they want in this race, they've got time to tweak things and make sure they're all good for later on. So yeah, this is for now Matthew Howell with the quickest time on that 51.242, so still a second off where we were from last year. There's Mark Goff, we can see working his way through clearways now. Lovely looking car, the Mini Clubman that we have for Mark this weekend. He turns his way on towards the Brabham Straight, currently runs down in 6th place. Not a bad run for him at the minute as he works his way down towards Paddock Hill Bend. We've got the battle for more traffic to deal with. That's one of the the other Dees actually. So brother to Harvey, they're working their way through now. So nicely out of the way does go Clive, and Matthew Howe on his way to complete another lap with 5.5 minutes on the clock. The gap is out to 3.5 seconds. So Matthew Howe has really pulled and touched the fire this time round, and now has near enough 4 seconds over Harvey. So he's not quite with it at the minute, but as we said, things might come his way a little bit later on, or maybe for race 2.
Yeah, and he's cutting his way through the back markers and still extending that lead. So Matthew Howe looking pretty comfortable with 5 minutes to go in this one. And if you've got a chance later on, remember the paddock is completely available for you to go over to. And we've talked about a number of these cars. We talked about Goff's car, the number 19, looking cracking car. Bill Richards' car as well, another very interesting car. Go over to the paddock and have a look, because these cars not only look cracking, but they're so well turned out. So take the opportunity to have a quick look over at the paddock. But as we look over towards the back of the circuit at the moment, Bill Richards in that car making very good steady progress in third place in the 26. It's still Matthew Howe in the 181 leading, but the lap times are nowhere near as quick. Harvey Deeth in the 60 again. Both those cars now lapping in about the 52 and 54 second mark, so a couple of seconds slower than they were in the early part of this race. So yeah, maybe there's a little bit of an issue for Harvey Deeth. Bill Richards at the moment in third place in the 26 as that car comes across the line. Sounds brilliant, that Mini, and it is one of the kind of silhouette of the estates of the Mini. But another car on the move and moving a little bit quicker now is the number 70 car, the number 70 of Fabio Lufarelli, one of our international visitors here. But that car sounding great, but also looking pretty rapid as it comes across the start line as well.
Certainly is. Yep, garage owner is Fabio, racing national hot rods and silhouettes. Been a champion in there in the last few years as well. So he's a quick peddler is Fabio. He's got this space frame Mini built by Trevor Marshall, which is powered by a Suzuki GSXR 1000. So absolutely rapid with that motorbike engine under the bonnet for Fabio as he turns his way in towards the left-hander of Surtees and on towards McLaren he goes for another time. 3.5 minutes left on the clock. I'm just looking a couple of laps ago at Harvey Deeth's car. It looked very sideways through clearways. I'm just wondering if he's working the tyres too hard, and that of course is not allowing them the time to come through. So he might have to do something about that, because that is not aiding his forward traction at the minute, which is a real shame for him. So he'll have to try and sort that out for a little bit later on as we now look at the 21 machine of Richard Billingham. He started third on the grid, currently sits now in 5th position, so he has dropped down the order from where he started, but still inside the top 5 for that orange machine, as we have the man who had the moment a little bit earlier on in this race, Mike Chalk, now working his way through Druid, still just finds himself outside the top 10.
Yeah, and he's about to be lapped by the 19 of the 19 car of Mark Goff. That green car again, another incredibly well turned out. That's the Mini Clubland with the kind of extended bonnet, but incredibly quick car. And Mike, relatively new to the Mini racing, and so great to see him out and going so competitively well in currently in 6th place. But our leaders at the moment with just 2 minutes 15 to go at the moment are heading towards Clearways and round through Clark. And I'm just going to keep an eye on Harvey Deeth, because as you mentioned, or we both mentioned, that car has been a little bit unstable looking through there, and certainly looks like Harvey Deeth is braking a little bit earlier for that section of the circuit. But the 181 moving on to another lap, Matthew Howe, and he's got a really steady gap over Harvey Deeth in the number 60. That green and white Mini crosses the line now, and that gap's out to 8.5 seconds. So Matthew Howe, with just a minute and 40 odd seconds left to go, is sitting quite comfortably at the moment.
Yep, certainly is. Nice gap he has there for the time being. A gap and a battle we need to probably pick up on the cameras is going to be for third place now, because Bill Richards, as he comes across the start-finish line, is being caught here by Fabio Lufarelli. So these two were about second adrift, but over the last couple of laps, Fabio Lufarelli has been slightly quicker, just gone and done his best lap of the race on a 53.7, but now Bill Richards has picked up the pace once again. So up towards Druids those two cars go, and this, as we said, is for the final position on the podium in his first fastest Mini in the world race, as Matthew Howe now comes across the line with what's going to be 2 more laps remaining with just under 60 seconds left on the clock. He's going to put another lap on Mike Chalk as well as they work their way through Paddock Hill Bend. The gap is coming down actually between him him and Harvey Deeth, not to a massive extent, but it is coming back in the right direction for our second place man.
Yeah, Harvey Deeth a little bit quicker that time by than he has been the last couple of laps. So he's down into the 52-second range that time by. But just looking at that battle for third place at the moment as they come across the start line now, and it did look like Bill Richards has suddenly glanced in the mirror and realised that Fabio is so quickly behind him. But Fabio Laffarelli, as they head into Paddock Hill Bend, it looks like he's getting even closer in that green and white number 70 car, an ex-autocross car, that one, been modified for track racing, and he's clearly very competitive. And it looks like he's getting close to Bill Richards as they exit Druids and down towards Graham Hill Bend. It does look like Fabio is getting much closer to that car. Bill Richards very wide at Graham Hill Bend and missing the apex completely, whereas Fabio looks completely on it, and these two are going to be really close behind. They're only going to have another lap to go when they come back next time by, but Bill Richards is going to have to do all he can to hang on to third place at the moment.
Certainly is. Yet Matthew Howe already onto his last lap of the race. He works his way now on towards the back straight. A couple more cars to possibly work his way through here, but looking for a first victory of the weekend. Is he going to be able to get to the 50-second mark for later on today? We'll have to wait and see. We've only done a 51.2 for this first race, but he's going to work his way through Clearways and Clark Curve for the final time. The checker flag is at the ready, and Matthew Howe, after finishing second twice last year, is going to be on the top step of the podium for race number 1. Second place goes the way of Harvey Deeth, and for third place, it will, by the looks of it, just about be Bill Richards, who works his way through the last couple of corners, still ahead of Fabio Laffarelli, waiting for them to appear. They're quite a way back, actually, so through Surtees and McLaren they now come.
Yeah, they're heading up to towards Clearways part of the circuit now, and Bill Richards does look a little bit more comfortable. Certainly Fabio Laffarelli has gained on him quite a bit over the last couple of laps, but yeah, it does look like Bill Richards is going to hold on for third place, but very close as they cross the line. Bill Richards in the number 6, the 26, taking third place, and Fabio Laffarelli in the number 70 holding on to fourth place. So a cracking race then. Great to see Bill Richards, as you say, back in the Mini, and getting a podium is going to be great for him. So Matt is heading off down towards the podium to talk to those drivers, and as we're doing that, I'll just run through the top 10 before we lose it on the timing screen. But it was a win for car 181 Matthew Howe, followed up in second place by Harvey Deeth. Bill Richards in third place, very closely followed by Fabio Laffarelli in fourth place. It was Richard Billingham in fifth, Mark Goff in sixth in that gorgeous green Mini Clubman. Josh Evans in the numbers finished up in seventh place, and he was followed into eighth. He was followed into eighth by Lloyd Hutchinson in the number 37. Just looking at the final screen there, unfortunately we did have a couple of cars that did not finish the race, and hopefully nothing too traumatic for those cars technically, and they can be back out with us a little bit later on. So before we go to the podium, and Matt will be interviewing those podium drivers, as I can see the 181 Matthew Howe is already pulled into the pit lane at the moment, and hopefully Matt will be able to grab a quick word with him in a moment. Just a reminder, the programmes are on sale this weekend, just £6, and they are cracking. Spotters guides in there as well, and we are broadcasting if you're out and about looking around the paddock area or looking around some of the different sections and the things that are available to you to see this weekend. We are broadcasting on 88.3 as well as the YouTube coverage, but we can see Matthew Howe on screen at the moment, just celebrating with the mechanics and the people that are there. And Matt, I believe you may have your winner with you at the moment.
Yeah, we're down here. Thanks very much, Rob. So Matthew Howe jumps out of the car. We'll let him get his gloves off, because that probably was a hard race there, Matthew. You did the job. You got the victory this year. You were second best yesterday last year to the man behind you, but good job today.
Yeah, well, we had a few troubles on Friday when we were testing. Bearing in mind we haven't really taken it out since last year, so yeah, we got sorted. We got in a happier place with the car. Luckily, it feels like we got rid of the gremlin we had it in the races last year, so it's performing all the way through. So it's just whether the blubber in the seat can keep it going now.
We're looking for sub 50 seconds this weekend. Do you think it's achievable?
I don't know, because everybody's telling me that the track is slower. I don't know whether it is or not. But we've matched what we did last year, but we haven't gone quicker yet. So, but we were on quite hard compound tyres that time, so we'll probably put softer ones on for the next one to see if we can get it.
Okay, so something to look forward to from our point of view as well. What's it like driving in the fastest Mini in the world? It must be a joy to drive these cars.
Extremely hot. Your sensors are on stalks because it is, everything happens just so fast. I mean, you ask Harvey, these things are just rocket ships. You know, and your closing speed on things are the bit that catches you out if you're not careful. You've really got to be aware when you're catching stuff. Yeah, it's damn good fun.
So you've done. Sorry, go ahead.
This is obviously for a lot of people that have helped us, and Pete Crudgerton, my brother, DY Engine Services. But there's a man sat in a bed at the moment called Dell. I tried and I've done it, Dell.
There we go. Thanks very much, Matt. Good luck for later on as well, with hopefully a good battle and maybe a sub 50 seconds as well. Harvey, come and join us in here as well. Last year, you were the man who did the double. Today, by the looks of things, it looked like that car is a little bit squirrely. Any problem with the tyres at all?
Yeah, I think we're a bit of a rear end problem, and also, but Ollie drove a great race, full credit to him, and it was his race to win today. But we had a few issues, gear changing and stuck in gear, and my brother putting me onto the grass going through 30s didn't really help, so that was quite interesting. But no, full credit to Ollie, and it's all to do in the next race.
Nothing like a good family squabble there, is there? But you did your best there. You tried to hang on to him, but he just kind of edged the gap as the race went on. Yeah,
very much so. You know, full credit to him, and we did it last year. Maybe it's his turn this year, but there's another race to go yet.
And I did say as well, sub 50 we're looking for this weekend. I know you did it last year with a 50.2, so not quite there. But again, same question to you. Do you reckon it's achievable?
Yeah, so everything's there to be achieved, isn't it? So, yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. Well done, Harvey. Good to see you this weekend as well. Have a quick chat with Bill Richards. Always a great character is Bill, having a quick chat with the team down here. Bill, come and join us. Well done. Third place. What a great race that was for you.
Yeah, it's okay. The old girl's going well.
And, of course, this is your local circuit. It's always nice to be at home.
Yeah, I know all the bumps and wrinkles and where to do it and where not to do it, but the girl's getting old, you know, so... Well, so am I, apparently, so but it's fine.
You don't look it.
My voice hasn't broke yet.
Tell us a little bit about the car. It's a wonderful bit of kit there.
Right, OK, it's one of Maguire's. It's unmessed with, more or less. So it started off life as doing Wendy Walls with an 850 cross-flow Arden engine. So then we went to 1300 BDH just as the Metro come out. So we thought, OK, the Metro's got a lower drag coefficient. If you're scientific, it means it goes through the air quicker. OK, so I got it, talked to John Maguire, and I said, look, can you extend the rear radius arms, because the Metro is 8 inches longer. No problem, piece of cake. But also, he said, we need to put a slant on the front roll cage. He done that for me. So, great, all looking good. Doing more and more work for mini spares, more and more work for mini spares. Nearly all my work is mini spares. And Justin, the owner, said, listen, I don't mind you racing, but you need to race a mini. I said, yeah, but it's an old girl, you know. He said, well, it's got to be a mini. Get a steel shell. I've already got a steel shell. We've got the lap record here with the steel shell. So I thought, OK, Mini Traveller, let's have a measure up. The Mini Traveller is exactly the same wheelbase as a Metro. One body off, one body on, everyone's happy, Justin's happy, Mini Spare's happy, I'm happy. There we are.
There you go, Bill. Great job today. Good luck for race 2.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We'll see it this afternoon.
Good stuff. Bill Richards there. Always nice to hear the stories, isn't it, about these fastest Mini in the world as well. So our top 3 down here in the pit lane. Another race to look forward to them a little bit later on, but up next is the turn of the Mini Millias here at Brands Hatch.